On this video, we're going to be diving into one simple way that you can implement today in order to get out of the hamster wheel, get your team complete tasks and projects with little to no errors, and actually scale up your business without your constant input. And that way, you can start focusing on things that actually moves the money needle. If you're new to the channel, my name is Eetu. I'm the founder, CEO at Mescula, a real estate growth agency that's revolutionizing the way how realtors acquire listings by implementing the AI-enhanced value-first listing acquisition system. And on this channel, I'll show you how to build consistent and predictable listing acquisition systems to close extra 12, 24, 36 or more listings per year. And if you're already a subscriber, welcome back and thank you. Let's dive in. What we're going to talk about today, processes and standard operating procedures. So we have in our business, we have basically SOPs and documents and process for every single thing. We host them in one place and we use ClickUp to host our tasks, projects, SOPs, resources, all that stuff. So have one place for everything in one simple place. And as I said, we have literally process and SOPs and documents for close to every single thing when it comes to running the business the day to day and how our process works, how our service works, all that stuff. And it is just one of the examples. So in this document, for example, whoever comes to the business, new team members, all that stuff, they can just go through this document and they understand basically how we get our leads, what happens when we get our leads, how we enroll clients, and what happens in terms of like onboarding, launching, the day-to-day, all that stuff, what happens during delivery, what happens during the first month, second month, third month, fourth month, etc., etc. And we go even further as like the mindset of these people, the mindset of that we need to have when it comes to serving our clients and all that stuff. So we really dive in super deep in this. So this is just one example, and this is really just a process document. It's just like process from A to Z. So this is different than SOP. So this is the process, and inside of this process doc, we have different SOPs for different stages in the like during the process, right? When we walking client through our service, so or getting clients through our service. So this way, every single team member knows how things should work. So for instance, if someone is on a vacation or sick or whatever, whoever pretty much can come in here and be like, okay, what should I do in this step? And it's like literally work step by step. So for example, during build out, we have every single step built out as an SOP, standard operating procedure here, so that no matter what happens, you know, everyone can pretty much make it happen. Obviously, there's certain things that needs more knowledge and understanding and just experience, but like in a nutshell, basically the most simple tasks and projects are here, and then it has like some knowledge base built into them as well, but it has checklists and all that stuff. So let's dive into how you can actually do this, so how you can build SOPs. So if we really simplify SOPs slash playbooks and you want to get something done fast, there's really only 4 pieces, 4 C's that you need to have in an SOP or playbook in order to get that out there for your team members and get them do the task or the project, and that way outsource what you normally doing to someone else. So basically you need to have the content. So these are the training videos, basically you walking someone through how you want this thing to get done. And then what you can do and what I recommend doing is recording 3 different training videos. So 3 times you're doing the task or the project or whatever the thing is, because every single time you're doing it, there's probably something that you do slightly differently, or there's an error that comes up or whatever. So when you do it 3 times, when you record 3 training videos of that task, you basically can get most of the errors that happen, most of the differences when it comes to building something up or doing the task, and that way it's easier to actually build SOP and for someone to go through it, because then you basically showed them multiple different things that can happen throughout the task or going through the project or whatever the case may be. So as I said, record yourself 3 times while doing the task in order to capture all different ways it gets done, errors, etc. Now, the second thing that you need is the course. So basically what this means is just the steps involved in the process. So what are the steps, step by step, in the process while doing the task, right? Then the third one is the cadence. So how often these tasks should be completed. Is it monthly, weekly, daily, couple times a day, every single morning, whatever the thing is, the cadence. How often tasks should be completed. Then the checklist is the fourth one. So the high level items that must be completed every time. So you basically just have a simple checklist. You can do this in when it comes to SOPs, you can do it on a Google Docs. You can host them all in like your Google Drive or whatever the case may be, or you can use softwares like ClickUp, Asana, Monday.com, different project management tools that there's out there to actually build your knowledge base, your wiki, and then have these SOPs in there. But Google Docs is easy and simple to get started if you're using Google stuff. So the checklist pretty much just has all the different high-level items that must be completed every single time. And then once you actually hand this out to your team members, for example, or someone else, and they start doing this, and then if they actually followed the checklist, but something went wrong, like something goes wrong and it didn't work the way we wanted to work, you know that it's your time to actually update the checklist. So that's a good sign from there. Now let's dive into the SOP and the creation of SOP more in depth. If you want to create a solid, rock solid SOP, how to get that done. So here's an SOP for creating SOPs. Without actual training video, I guess this could be the training video, but in the actual training video, I would include how I'm actually creating it. So basically, the purpose of this SOP is to ensure consistency, clarity, and efficiency across all processes within the organization. This SOP outlines the steps for creating, reviewing, and maintaining SOPs. So this gives the purpose for this SOP on creating SOPs. Feels like on MLM. Then the scope. This procedure applies to all departments and employees involved in the creation, review, approval, and updating of SOPs. Then you want to have the responsibilities we have in this SOP. Process owner, responsible for drafting and updating SOPs relevant to their process, and then reviewer ensures the SOP is clear, accurate, and comprehensive, and approver gives final approval for the SOP to be implemented. And then employees follow the procedures outlined in the SOPs. Definitions. SOP, standard operating procedure, a document that outlines step-by-step instructions on how to perform a specific task or process. And then the procedure is here, right? So this is basically the procedure for creating SOPs. So step 1, identify the need for an SOP. Determine if a new SOP is regarded based on introduction of new processes or tools, changes to existing processes, need for a standardization across the team. So, and then obviously one could be like you're actually hiring someone to do a certain task to get that out of your plate and buy back your time. In that sense, then you need an SOP so they know how to actually do that thing. Now, on that sense, you could create, so one thing that I'm implementing with my assistant is I'm creating a training video. I'm recording those things when it comes to certain tasks, and I'm asking her to actually build a playbook based on the SOP for SOPs. So I don't necessarily need to do the full SOP myself anymore, but I can create the video, the training, and based on that, then tell them to actually build it up. And you could potentially create a training video ask someone who is going to do the task to go through it, and then get them to build a playbook for the future. It is possible. We've done it, and yeah, so that's another good nugget there. Golden nugget, as they say. Gather information is step 2. Consult with subject matter experts and other stakeholders to collect accurate and relevant information. Review any existing documentation or SOPs that may overlap or inform the new SOP. And this is actually a good thing to remember, is like the thing that I just said, that you can build a video and ask someone else to build a playbook. But even with, like, you don't necessarily need to even create the training video. You can ask your team member to, like, hey, I need an SOP for XYZ process. Can you get that done? And then they go and they ask and they gather the information, what's included, how should it be done, all that stuff. They build it up, they record all that. It may take a bit more time to get that done on their end if they don't know, if they aren't the subject matter expert, but it doesn't take any time on your end, basically. So that's another way you can do it. So if you have A-player team members, that is a possibility. Now, then you want to draft the SOP. So use standardized template for consistency. Include the following sections in the SOP: title, purpose, scope, responsibilities, definitions, procedure, references, revision, history. So basically what we had here: purpose, scope, and the title, obviously. Responsibilities, definitions, procedure, and as you can see from here, we have appendix, and then there's like review, update, implementation, all that stuff. Review, revise. You want to share this to the people who are actually doing it, who are actually doing the task, or have the other subject matter experts for review. You want to collect feedback and make any revisions that are needed to improve clarity and accuracy. Now, how we're doing this is basically, I'm creating an SOP, for example. I'm giving it to the person who does the task, and I'm seeing what are the questions that are coming up and how well they actually accomplish the task or the process, right? And then based on that, I see the gaps and I basically fix the SOP and fill the gaps. And it's basically a constant process if you think of it, because like there's multiple different things that changes, so you always need to have someone who also monitors and updates, but we'll get that in a bit. Approval, if it's you who needs to get that approved, so if you have a team member doing this and you need to approve it, that's pretty much it. If you're the one doing it, you probably don't need an approval. Distribution and training, then basically you need to distribute the SOP to everyone who needs to use it, and then you need to provide training if necessary to ensure understanding and compliance. Implementation, monitoring, you implement it, start doing it, your team starts doing it, you monitor, and then you review and update. So whatever comes up that ain't, that you weren't thinking that may come up, like errors, gaps, whatever, that's normal, that always happens, then we need to update it. Now, here's one thing that I want to emphasize on. SOPs alone ain't enough in most cases. You need to actually train and coach your team. And things are ever changing, basically. So you want to create like a high level SOP in terms of like, you have someone can go through it and still accomplish the process or task, even though a software would have changed, even though a platform would have changed, right? That way you don't necessarily need to update that often, but still though, you need to have someone who goes through them, reviews and updates them based on any changes that have happened, updates them based on gaps, as I mentioned before. But the training is crucial, because you can't really expect someone, especially, kind of depends who you hire or what type of people you have in your team, but like you don't want to have the expectation that you hire someone, you build a one SOP and you get them through it and they can do it like without any training from you or coaching, and you can just like forget them and never even think about them or the task or the process. You need to be training your team, you need to be coaching your team, and that's basically how you can get the most out of them. So your role transitions from actually doing the task and the process to training and coaching your team who are doing the task and process, and later on it transfers to training and coaching the managers, team leaders, whatever, who are then training and coaching the people who are doing the task and the process and all that stuff. So it's like there's levels to the game basically, but you have to understand training is crucial. There are certain tasks and processes that you can literally just hand out and never ever need to think about them. But like, I just want you to have the expectation that if you hire someone, you actually hire a team member, it is your team member. You have to take care of them. You have to show up for them. You can't just expect that they now do all the work and you just don't do anything at all. You just go to the beach and sit. Zip market agents. You actually need to show up your team and train and coach them. They are people. They are working for you, basically, trying to get you and your company to the vision that you created. And like, you can't just expect they do all the work. You have to actually show up, help them, train them, support them, all that stuff. Now, when it comes to that, you do want to have clear roles. So if someone comes in and you hire them, they need to understand what's their role in the company, what should be they doing on a daily basis. So even just like having a SOP, all that stuff, that's great, but you still need to make sure that they actually understand their role and not just that specific process or task. Now though, you can create a SOP for the role, or just like a basic documentation what the role is about, and then OKRs and clear KPIs, just so they always know if their week was good or bad, if their week was successful, if their day was successful. So they never need to think about, did I do the things that are expected from me? But they always know like, okay, cool, my KPI, basic minimum standard, if we want to simplify it, that how we think of it in our company. Oh, my KPI was X. Did I hit that? Yes, cool. Great week in that sense. I hit it. My OKR is XYZ. Am I closer to my OKR this week than I was week prior? Did I hit it already? If yes, phenomenal. Now, if I didn't get to KPI, how big is the gap? Like, what are the things why I didn't get there, and how big is the gap for me getting to the KPI? Can I get there next week? And just like fill the gap basically. So those are extremely important. So they always know what are the priorities, what to focus on, and what are they really doing and why they're doing the things they are doing. And yeah, a couple of things that you can document. For example, if you're a real estate agent right now watching this, is your lead conversion and sales process. Literally just document everything from A to Z. How you calling leads, what's the conversation looking like, how you're actually setting an appointment, all that stuff, and then what the in-person appointment looks like, all it, right? You want to document the whole process, and then any and all process that you're looking to outsource. Now, once you build your first SOPs and all that stuff, it becomes much easier and faster. And then once you have people who can actually build them for you, it becomes much easier and faster. So then you can basically create training videos or even just get someone to do that. Now, here's an example SOP for lead calling by an inside sales agent. So for example, like an ISA for a real estate agent. This SOP ensures that ISAs are following a proven framework for lead calling, which emphasizes building rapport, qualifying leads, and setting appointments effectively. And if you look at this, it gives the purpose, all that stuff again. It has the procedure, so it literally like preparation, initiate call, how to dial, all that stuff. Qualify the lead, how to go through, what are the discovery questions, listen and take notes, overcome objections, address concerns, set the appointment, transition and close for the appointment, confirm details, follow up, log the goal, reporting, daily reporting, quality control, all that stuff. So literally, if you hire an ISA, a new team member, they really don't need to know anything at all, and they can just come in and start dialing. Now, obviously, as I said earlier, you do need to train them and coach them up and actually monitor the performance and train all that stuff. There's multiple different things that can happen even in a conversation with the lead that you need to coach them through. But literally, if someone goes through this, they can log in, they can start dialing, and they know where to click, what to say, what to ask, all that stuff, what happens next, etc., etc. So it just helps with onboarding as well. Now, let me show you guys one more thing. Something that we haven't been we haven't been really good at has been building, we haven't actually had a really rock solid onboarding for new team members. I admit that. But this is our current one, and it actually works based on the feedback. So it has the vision, mission, values, queen bee role, what are we, who are we, why we do what we do, etc. Product education, industry education, organization chart, and then an onboarding checklist. So onboarding checklist, literally when someone comes in, they have all these things that they're going to do, and they just take them off once they've done it. They review stuff, they get into the systems, all that stuff. So pretty much everything handles pretty easily. And then we have day 2 where they literally go a bunch of different processes, SOPs, and trainings and videos and all that stuff. And then we actually go through this is what your first day looks like, second day, all that stuff, whatever. And then this helps to get someone faster to actually doing the things that we want them to do. On top of that, we obviously do meetings with them, trainings, all this stuff over Zoom with team members when they come on. But that helps to get the first couple of days in terms of they know what to focus on, they know what they need to get done, and we give them 2 days to just go through study materials and all that stuff and get them in team meetings already. And then after that, we start doing one-on-ones with them, all that, and getting them up and running from there. So that's what we do. But hopefully this was helpful. I guess one thing I want to emphasize is SOPs ain't enough. You need to train your team. You need to coach your team. You need to show up for a team. And if you want to get started today with some SOP, think about what is the one thing that causes me the most pain that I could easily outsource to someone else in my team or hire someone to my team to do this task. Build an SOP. You can start with these 4 C's: content, course, cadence, and checklist. Build it up and see how it goes. Make it better and get after it. That's one of the ways how you can get out of the hamster wheel. Get your team complete tasks and projects with little to no effort, errors, and scale your business without your constant input. See you in the next one.